Hey everybody, this is a voiceover analysis of a Salotto match between Bryan Nehls and myself. Bryan's a pretty new player, a couple years. This is the second set of two sets that we played the other day. So I'm doing analysis. It's a race to 9, even race. We're doing Salotto, so we're basically just going to track each game, and I'm going to do analysis as we go, both he and I, so that he gets a better idea of what I'm trying to do, and so that he can watch himself and then just learn what I'm doing. I think that's going to be helpful in the long term. We're planning on doing several of these over the, I don't know how long, mid to long term. So he broke, did not make a ball. I played a push out just to the rail so that you can just see the edge of the one. So he's going to give it back, I believe. I'm just going to thin the one to the right. And try to go underneath. Basically, as thin as I can and go underneath those balls. I think I hit a little bit too full. Yeah. A little bit thinner, so I sold out here. So here I like playing it. It looks like there's a little bit of angle, so I just play it to the side rail and then back out for the one. And you want to give yourself an angle to like draw out. That's pretty good. You might get a little bit further. Play a little bit of draw there to get a little bit closer to the 5. That would give you a little bit closer. But this is fine. You just need to put a good stroke on it. Or if you had left it a little bit of an angle, then you could have used the side rail. So you just got to end up with a stop shot, which is going to be fine. I like having a little bit less angle. This is just a little bit more angle. It's harder to make the shot, and then a little bit more tough to control the speed. The forward all the way down on the end, so it's like natural. So he left me this 3 ball. I was sort of just trying to play it. Yeah, that's right. So I cut it and I try to make it, and I try to go all the way back up to the corner where the 3's going to give myself a hit on the 4, hoping that I can make it and then go up and down again for the 5, or maybe bank the 5 on the side. Just barely missed it, and the cue ball almost makes it again, but does not. So here I just like playing it off the right side of the 3, low right, not a lot of low because you're close to the ball, mostly just a little bit of right, and then just trying to control the angle off the rail directly towards the 4, but you're just basically leaving yourself the whole time the angle. If you do that, then you can get to the middle of the table using that line, because this is not really where you want to be. It's a little bit far away to control the speed. So here I'd just probably bear down, center ball, make the ball, because it's gonna, by the time it gets to the 4, it's just going to be rolling. So you don't want to like necessarily put spin on it. It's so far away, it'll change the angle. So he's hooked me, so I'm playing this to try to kick it in the corner pocket where the 5 is at, that corner. And then the reaction off the rail, the cue ball, I want to have like follow and left English, so that when it hits the 4, it continues on its path. So I'm kind of trying to play the spin as such, because I would like to make it and get shape. Pretty close. So here I think you just use follow and play short side, get the cue ball to go to the side rail and back kind of to the same position. You might have to use a touch of right English to get it to come higher up. But this is fine. Now here you can either draw back, play it in the side to play the 6 in the side, or you can go forward. Either shot's good. A little fortune there. Sort of. Here I think, I can't tell if you can make it in the side and avoid the scratch. You can always play for the 7-9 combo. Tried to bank it. I like that shot. Got a little wild with it. I think here I'm just trying to bank it because the cue ball is going to come back down and around. And I feel like if I make it, I'll have something to do. So I'm just going to try to make it. I could play safe here by like cutting to the 6 to the left, banking it down below the 9 and the 7, kind of by the 8, and then using like a little bit of right English to get the cue ball to travel up table, and ideally just end up like on the end rail at the middle of the table. Yeah, I hit a little bit too full, which caused the cue ball to come down more, and that's why I hit the 8. If I'd hit it and made it, it would have went between the 8 and the 9, I believe. Yeah, here, so you want to be kicking it either in the side or in the corner. Either way would work, because the cue ball will kind of float to a position where you can make the 7. Just banking it with shape to play for the side. Ended up a little bit above it, so I think I'm just going to use draw. So you just change the angle so that it goes right down into the end rail and back up. Maybe right English a little bit. Yeah. Now I could use right spin and go forward and down. It's a little risky. I've been working on using like left English to get it to check and go up table without really using draw. I mean, obviously this is my table, so I'm pretty comfortable on it. And just playing an extra rail to come above it, because I like being above the 9 when it's kind of in the spot that it's at, so you don't like worry about scratching in the side or in the corner. Alright, so 1-0. The score's in the top center there on the I don't know what you call that thing. It's a scoreboard, I guess. So I'm a little bit straight. It is slightly a cut to the left. So I want to use high ball and then play 2 rails forward between the 8 and the 9 is that window, so I can shoot the 3 and then come back on a similar pathway to the 4. I think because I was close to the rail there, I didn't account for either the swerve or the squirt, but I ended up scratching. So if I had ball in hand here, and this requires a little bit of a stroke, I think a stop shot here and then drawing straight through would be okay, or you can go forward. And now what you're going to need to do is just, you got to avoid the 5 somehow. So you're either going to go through the window where the 9 and the 5 are, or to the outside of the 5. But I think between the 9 and the 5 is good here. You're going to come a little bit yeah. I think had he not hit the 5, it would have been too fast a little bit anyways. So if I'm playing safe here, you can either like roll off the left side of the 4 pretty full and bank it kind of down by the end rail, and then ideally you just have the cue ball end up behind the 5 like 1 rail, or if you use a lot of left English, you can go to 2 rails and then come right at the 5. Yeah, offensively I think the bank into that pocket is the correct shot, because you end up with probably a shot on the 5, and then the 6 is in front of the side pocket, so it's worth going for it. Now on this shot, if I make the 4, the 9's in the way, so if I use draw, I'll probably hit the top of it, and then I don't want to interfere with the 8 and the 9 blocking my pathway, so I think I used follow here to try to like get the cue ball to hit down on the 9 more, so that it goes forward instead of getting stuck. Yeah, and then it hit it thinner than I expected, so I came just a little bit too far. So I'm just banking the 3, I believe, playing safe, and just banking the 3 under the 9. And then using all those balls as blockers. I'm not sure that you can go 2 rails between the 7 and the 6. It looks like the 6 is in the way, so I think the 2 railer, the way that Bryan ends up shooting it, is proper. Otherwise, you could potentially use right spin and then go just barely miss the 8 with right spin and try to kick underneath, and then maybe the carom angle of the 5 into the 9 could carry the 5 into the side, or excuse me, the 9 into the corner. You'd have to get a nice dig on that, but that could work potentially. He made a good hit there, because you got to hit the bottom of the 5. Didn't come out very nice, but he could have easily like gotten a little bit better there accidentally, just the way he hit it. I got pretty lucky there. It looked like it was going to go right behind the 9 or behind the 7, but it hit the 8. So now that I got 3 balls left, I like to take a little bit of another look here, make sure I'm doing it right, so I have a good plan. Because I could go anywhere I want here. I'm straight in, so I could go forward or draw. There wasn't a window to go between or next to the 9 in the corner, so you have to shoot this shot. And you could just stop that ball, but as you get better, you realize that there's not really a difference. You just have to play the shot. All right, 2-0. All right, Bryan's break. So we're playing alternate break in this format, so he gets plenty of breaks. He's not having very much luck on the break here. The first set, he didn't have hardly any success. Like I said, again, it's just my table breaking from the middle is just like way less percentage to make a ball. One thing I advocate for is trying to be as consistent as you can all the time. So actually spending the time to develop like a breaking pre-shot routine, and then being conscious about like if you're going to make adjustments, making those before you are down to actually shoot the break. I did pretty good there. I was kind of coming across the zone, which is trickier than just coming into it, but there was really no way to come into the zone that I could see that was easy enough to be easier than that shot. I was just high inside. Instead of going to the corner or to the middle of the table, just coming to the right side. This is just going to be nice and smooth. That shot, I could have ended up either close to straight or an angle, and then I would end up choosing one side of the 4 or the other based on the angle that I get. So it's not super crucial. I was playing for straight in, truthfully. So here, I'm just going to play 2 rails. Touch it right, just to help the ball in. Now here I can't go forward. I would have liked to have been below the 5 to come to the side rail on the left side of the table. But I couldn't really do much because if I touched the 7 on the way up with the 4, then I could have scratched. So I had to avoid that and make sure. So I'm going to draw. A little bit of right English and draw. So that the right takes it up table more. You use the draw to get it to where it's not going up table anymore, like the little bit of banana, and then the right English, or excuse me, it was left English in this shot. That shot will then turn it off the rail. Yeah, and I had to punch that shot. I was trying to get straight in. Here I'm just going to have to interact with the 9. Hoping for like a thinner hit on it or fuller, and then the double kiss to create separation, but it didn't work. So I'm going to play safe here. I could have played a stop shot safety or a slight cut to the right safety, but I elect to just bump this ball to the rail and back out, and hoping to freeze it. So now he could play it safe again, but I think he ends up shooting it and making it, kicking it in. He's doing a good job of lining up the shot and trying to visualize what you need to do. Hit it good. Nice shot. So now it's 2-1. He's breaking from the wing now. Made a ball, but he got unfortunate. Yeah, I like pushing out to the corner. I might push down to the end rail instead of that way, just to get it closer to the rail. Not that it's that big of a deal, because I think he ended up leaving me a shot in the side here. I missed. I tried a little masse shot. That was a good try. It would have been nice because you could have gotten shape if you had made it. I like that shot. So now the angle is so that the one, if I make it, then it'll cue ball bump to 3. So I'm trying to draw beyond that, like a little extra draw. It's pretty good there. If you overstroke it, you're just going to scratch. So you kind of have to just trust that you can do it. So I think now I can play follow. Came up way short of what I needed to do. I wanted to leave myself an angle, but this is like too much. Hit it pretty good. And I'm going to use low left and draw back for the side pocket on the 6. Too full. I hit it a little bit soft actually. So I think he can one rail and hit it thin. Too thin. Missed it. So I put it close to this 4, and then I'm trying to play it down to the end rail and back up for the 6 in the side. but that's what happened. So that I just hit it soft as I can, really, to hold it. And now I think it's too much angle to just play a stop shot. So I'm going to go to the end rail, or no, excuse me, to the side rail and back out. And that was like punch, right? Not really draw, because a draw, you're just going to come way up table, hitting it that hard. And I was playing it for the side or the corner, because wasn't sure if I could hit it hard enough to get it come out for the side. But as long as I get to here or past, it's a pretty easy shot. So either one was fine. Hit that a little bit full, but made it. So it's 3-1. I think Bryan ended up taking a couple breaks in a row there, but it's all good. Not a big deal. So the truck here is to get on the 5. Can't shoot in the corner because the 9's blocking it, so I'm trying to get short side. Playing 2 rails. Trying to play it short side for the corner. Or I might be trying to go all the way, I forget. That was not what I wanted. So now I'm going to play this bank shot and try to play the shape for the 6 in the side. There's enough room to play the 6 in the side if I hit it, play the shape right. So I ended up just like playing a 2-way here, or if I make the ball the bank shot, then I have a shot. Otherwise, it's a safety. A little bit short. I think I might kick it to the right on the side where the 9 is at versus on that side. Reason being, if you're cutting, if you actually do make a hit, at least with the 8 there's a chance that it can block. Although you did get that action, and I ended up shooting it anyways, this combo. Because why not? It was like straight in, so. Still haven't really been playing what I consider really good pool for myself, which is fine. It is what it is. So yeah, you just make it, play for the 6, play for the 8. Pretty good. Now, this angle I like just playing 2 rails. End rail, side rail, past the center of the table, just to give yourself the angle you want. So this might be like center right, punch, maybe. Yeah, he came. No, that was just center high, so he came like not towards the middle as much. Just creates a little bit, in this situation, a little bit of a steeper angle. And he had to use the bridge. Made it. Missed it. Left me the bank. I think I ended up banking it in. Four to one. I'm jacked up over the 4-ball, so this shot is not as easy as I'd like. I think I just try to hit it with draw to try to play for the side. Pretty sure I ended up missing it. I think I jawed it up or hit it. It just didn't go. I can't remember what happened exactly. Yeah, I just ended up electing to use follow because I couldn't get to the bottom of the ball so easily with the 4 there. So this one, if you wanted to play safe, you could. You just bank the 1 towards the end rail, like middle of the end rail, and then just play a little bit of right English or just high ball. So the 3 does not pass the 5. I remember that. So I play to bump it, that's right. I think it works. So I'm just using follow, lining it up perfectly to where the cue ball will just travel and bump it off the rail. Yeah, I didn't want to just roll that 3 and leave it where it was. I like to try to control the ball and not roll it as much as I can. Um, I don't like to worry about rolling the ball rolling off. High left here. Got away with the bump. Sort of. Ended up right on the rail. Yeah, so this is just, bear down, make the ball. Don't do anything extravagant. Just low. I don't know necessarily that I put maybe a touch of left. Five to one. Alright, we got weird. So I think it's supposed to be Bryan's break here, but I broke twice in a row. Earlier he broke twice in a row, so I don't know if we're even or not. Just trying to make the 2 past the 9 and go back up table to leave myself a cut shot on the 3. Got pretty fortunate. Kind of left him tough, but I think he can go underneath and cut it in. I guess here you're hoping that the 5 it comes into play. Just missed it altogether. So I'm using high right to go to the middle of the table. And now this is a little tricky to play both balls because I could potentially get behind the 9. Barely made it with shape there. Just gonna roll the 4 ball and play in a little angle on the 5. Played like a punch there to make sure I got down to the rail and back up. This is going to be basically high and touch a right. This should just be follow. Rolling ball, really, because it's going to be a soft shot. Six to 1. Breaking from the wing again, which I like to see. A lot more luck here on the break. Doing well. 3 balls. Tough to get on the 2 here. Unless you got a good, pretty strong stroke. You're going to play 1 rails, maybe 2 rails, and you just got to like kind of low right, but you don't really want to draw the ball. You want to just stun it with right, and you got to hit it hard enough to get the cue ball to go use the tangent line. So you do have to use draw, but that's going to go away over the friction of the cloth and the distance between the cue ball and the 1. Yep, it's just harder. You could go a little bit more right English, would have made it come down maybe to that first time, and that would have been what you want. Or even the end rail. So like I said, you got to hit it a little bit harder than that with a little bit more right English, but that was a good shot. See, he used left English there, and that made it the cue ball swerve to the right. That's what it looked like to me. So the 8 is blocking the 6 from everything here, so I'm trying to figure out how to break it out. I ended up deciding to play. I was thinking about using draw here, but then I decided to use follow. If I shoot it into the 3 ball into the left corner pocket, the tangent line, if I leave the cue ball below the 3, kind of goes towards the 6 and the 8. So I'm trying to play that angle. I think I needed to come like another, maybe a half an inch higher. Now I can't follow into it, and I'm like just going right into it. Maybe this one I should have hit harder, because I just glanced off the side of it, and I needed to hit it harder to get back up table. So I like cutting this to the left just because then if I make it, then it'll bump the 8 and I'll have a shot. If I go to the right, you're going right into the 9, and that's not going to necessarily give you a shot on the 8. I wouldn't necessarily say that the user shot's easy. Could be play safe by like bumping the 6 towards the 9 ball or towards the 8 and just playing the cue ball. Made it. Now I'm trying to play 2 rails. Up and down, cut the 8 in the corner. Missed it. I didn't leave him much though. So here, if you're playing safe, you can play thin off the right side of the 8, kind of like bump the 8 towards the middle of the table, and then play your cue ball 2 rails back down, like ideally like through the spot to the end rail, kind of by the first diamond, the left first diamond on the end rail, by playing it thin. If you use spin, you can get it like to get to the side rail and then the end rail, which you might want to do. So I'm just going to make this cut. I know that the cue ball is going to go into the 9, so I'm playing that reaction. And it looks to me as though if I use like right English, that'll make the 9 ball like basically bank straight towards the corner. And I got to play follow so that the cue ball comes back. And it worked out. Because I didn't want to keep the cue ball to be trapped. If I used draw, it might have just stuck there. So you just kind of have to realize what's actually going to happen and then make that work for you. Because definitely being creative is huge here. 7-1. Okay, I think we had a conversation about the breaking being out of order, so we got Bryan on the break. Now I'm going to use high ball, touch of left to try to come between a side rail and the 5 for the 2 in the corner, leaving myself an angle to come down table to the end rail for the 3. So now I just want to float it. I wanted to get closer to straight in to control it better. But I just have to play the speed here. Just eyeball here. Playing for 4 to the 5 to shoot the 5 in the side, I believe. 1 to 2 rails. I think 2 rails. Follow, touch of left English to bring me back to the middle of the table, some sort of. Sliding to the right of the middle of the table is really good. Now, if I'm thin on this, I'll play it 2 rails, side rail, side rail. If I'm full enough, then I'll just play 1 rail. I wanted more angle here. I wanted to go straight 1 rail up table to shoot the 8 in the left corner, but I'm a little bit steeper, or like more full, so I'm gonna use high inside and go 2 rails. Stun follow, that's like shot number 1. Almost played this left-handed. Eight to 1. A little crazy with my cue ball there. So I think I ended up trying to bank it in the side and then play to the back over to the right side to shoot the 3. Yeah, had I made it, I would have been a little bit further up table, and that would have given me a better shot. But part of it was just knowing that it was going to be like kind of a 2-way, really. If I was higher up on that rail, I could have probably shot the 3 like in the corner and the side. I think he can hit it. Not sure. I came up too far here. I was just trying to play a little bit of angle. So I had to just play it like super smooth and slow, because otherwise you'll get way back and forth. A lot of action here. Here, I think I'm just going to punch it. Yeah, I wanted to be straighter on this ball. Let's hit that too hard. hit the side. Missed it. Went way too far with the cue ball. This shot, I think he ended up cutting it to the left with draw, which is fine. I might consider cutting it to the right corner with follow and then playing 3 rails. You get to hit it hard, obviously, but the shape is like a little bit more consistent because you're going to be above the 9 the whole time. And there's no like scratches or anything. It's not like it's like a hanger. But neither is this shot, so it's kind of like pick your poison. You could even shoot this to the left corner pocket and play follow, and then go to the side rail and then the end rail with the cue ball, and then go back up table for the 9. With that much distance between the balls and then being close to the rail, I'm like more likely to use follow here a lot of the time. Oh yeah, that's right, you make the 9 here. So it's 8-2. Got a little bit of fortune there. Happens. Two balls on the break, not much on the 1. I like playing, if you can hit it full or cut it to the right at all, I would probably bank the 1 towards maybe 2 rails behind the 9. I think I just bank the 1 towards the 7 and leave my cue ball. Maybe I cut at it. I can't remember now. Might just be cutting at it. No, I played it. Yeah, like I said. If I'd have gotten past the 5, I might have hooked you there. Dang. I think maybe on that shot I should have played it with just high ball and then played the cue ball like 2 rails going to the side and then the end rail and then back up for the 2 rather than that. That's a good shot. Yeah, if you had a little bit of angle there, you could have just went forward with left, but I think you're not quite there yet. We'll work on it. I wasn't trying to hit the 9 with the 4 there. Not sure exactly what would have happened. Barely missed. So I'd play this off the right side of the 4. So you can come straight up table. Yep. A little softer, but it doesn't matter. You still just have to make this ball. This one I just use high ball. Just make it. Yep. Eight to 3. Eight to 3 here. Looks to me like if I cut this 1, then I'm probably going to hit the 4. I'd like to avoid it. Did not avoid it. I think if I play this with follow, I can avoid the 7. Yeah, barely got there. Now I'm going to play one rail. This is like a punch. Another punch shot coming up here. All right. 9-3.